and welcome to Juneteenth 196 Special 2020 edition. B-H-Brilliant Minds Project Inc. is honored to bring to you invited guests who will tell their personal life stories from past to present. B-H-Brilliant Minds Project Inc. understands the importance of leaving a legacy behind after we're gone. We know that it is our responsibility to keep our stories alive and for our voices to be heard. We are honored to have individuals in our communities. Let me start that over. Wrong. I got tongue-tied over here. Hello, and welcome to the Juneteenth 196 2020 special edition. B.H. Brilliant Minds Project Inc. brings to you invited guests who will share their personal life stories from past to present. B.H. Brilliant Minds Project Inc. understands the importance of leaving a legacy behind to carry on after we're gone. We know that we are responsible in keeping our stories alive, creating opportunities for our voices of our communities to be heard. The Juneteenth 196 2020 special edition will capture the essence of why we are celebrating and honoring the backs, the shoulders of our ancestors who we are standing on today. Their faith, their resilience, strength, blood, sweat, and tears are the building blocks for the generation to come. We are blowing into the winds as we create an opportunity to prepare brilliant minds of the future towards excellence. And we definitely want to make sure you understand that if you are a part of this Zoom via phone or any social media, you give B.H. Brilliant Minds authorization to use your voice, your comments, take your picture to be uploaded to our website, www.bhbrilliantminds.org. Good evening, Mr. Shawn Granberry. How are you tonight?
How you doing, my sister? I'm doing good.
Well, we are so excited to have you a part of this historical moment, and we thank you for taking out time in your busy schedule. So tonight, we have 3 questions for you. However, we're going to just let this flow. So tonight, we want to ask you, tell us about yourself, your family, your upbringing, and your passion. I know that's 3 questions in one, but they all flow together.
Okay.
Go ahead. Tell us about yourself.
All right. So I'm Shawn Granberry, born and raised in Oakland, California. 2-parent household, my mother and my father, Earl Granberry, Toni Granberry. I have a younger sister, Maila. We're about 3 years. We're 3 years apart. How you kind of wanted me to kind of just go through the whole thing, or do you want to shoot?
Yes, go right ahead. So tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Okay. I was raised pretty much a middle class upbringing. My mother, after a while in my childhood, my mother was CEO of my uncle's music production company. Oh. So my mother is the one that oversaw the creation of In Vogue and Toni and Club Nouveau. So I have a music industry family, and my dad owned a construction company. So kind of a welding construction company. So to sum it up, I was a Cosby kid.
Okay.
So I grew up very much a Cosby kid. So
watching Cosby too, huh?
Watching Cosby and and 2 professional parents and a nice house and vacations and all that stuff too.
All right.
I definitely grew up a little more. I will say I grew up pretty much silver spoon in my mouth.
Okay.
Which
all
is
right.
in hip hop, because I work in hip hop. People assume that all Black people had it tough,
Right.
but Didn't realize in Oakland, growing up in the 70s and 80s, there were a whole slew of professional black people that were doing pretty good, you know. So my parents was in that group. My school I went to, St. Pascal's, a lot of the black professionals kids went to the same school. So I went to a school when all we saw was doctors and lawyers and judges
Wow.
and CEOs and accountants, and all the parents were, you know, predominantly, you know, in that realm. So it was a very unique childhood, I would say. But you know, it was great. So all the kids went on to be doctors, lawyers, CEOs,
Wow.
etc. too. So it just shows in the right loving environment, you know, we can do whatever we see.
That's right. Wow. So with school, you went on, and I know that you went to college. What college did you go to?
So I went to St. Pascal's Elementary, St. Mary's High School. Then I did a couple of years at Merritt College. Then I transferred into UC Berkeley.
Okay. Okay. So what were you studying in UC Berkeley?
So UC Berkeley, my major was African American Studies with an emphasis in economic development.
Oh, wow.
Feedback, huh?
That is awesome.
Yeah.
My goodness. So I know you have a lot of passions.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about them.
My passions really, I think, came from watching my mother as a businesswoman growing up. You know, my mother was a CEO in the music industry. So, of course, the music industry is very male dominated. And just to see the way my mother maneuvered, I've always wanted to be a CEO because I grew up watching a CEO.
Right.
So my passion has always been to create a company, you know, a black-owned company, kind of within the niches of where we need to create a company. So for me, growing up in entertainment, Hip Hop TV is a lot of the things that I thought need to happen. Like, you know, I believe we need to own our own platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We participate a lot, but we have, you know, little to no ownership in platforms. So that's what I sought as my passion, to create a company that creates our own platform so we can create content on our own platforms and distribute it around the world. So I'm fortunate enough to be living my passion. So everything I've prayed for and dreamed for is what I'm doing.
Wow, that's awesome. And I do know you run some camps. Tell us about the camps that you run.
Okay, so
or created.
Right. So my community work is I created the Scholar Athlete Formula with Jason Kidd. I work along with Antonio Davis, two NBA veterans, retired NBA players. In my younger days, I was a basketball player, you know, 60 pounds ago, and you know, a lot
before COVID-19.
Yeah, exactly. So I used to be a pretty good basketball player. So I know a lot of professional athletes, especially basketball players. So we created a program that really connects to what I studied at UC Berkeley. So what I studied at UC Berkeley was I really studied solutions to what we need as Black people to uplift ourselves, survive, and nourish and grow. So what we studied with a lot of sociology research is what really happens to Black people in particular that go the wrong way, for instance. So it kind of focused on young men, but it really connected to young women because a lot of people didn't know that if you ask a brother in prison serving a long sentence, you know, what was his childhood like, he's gonna it's like 98% the same answer. Little to no relationship with his biological father. So biological father out the picture. Normally born to a young mother. So a mother that hasn't really known anything yet. So not only in high school or right out of high school. So his mother was young. Raised in a tough neighborhood. So he's in the hood. He's in the hood. He probably dropped out of high school. That's a common factor. Dropped out of high school. And lastly, the streets became his father. So his father figures, or male figures, became the successful guys he's seen in the neighborhood. Those successful guys are normally hustling.
Mm-hmm.
That became his thing. So if we know the factors that create this outcome, that outcome, a lot of times will lead to street life and on to, prison stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we started developing solutions. So one, the camps and the teams we run is designed to put a positive person in that child's life. So they don't even know that that's happening, but we do that on purpose. So we recruit brothers that did a lot of right things in life,
Mm-hmm.
that normally are from the neighborhood. So the kid can see you can come out that neighborhood and make good decisions and end up with a pretty good life for yourself,
Right.
And so we believe kids can make their own decisions. Kids can see Uncle Ray Ray, and
Yeah.
they can see Coach Shawn. They can look at
That's right.
and say, I kind of want to live that life rather than I see Uncle Ray Ray and what they're doing. So the camps and the teams and everything is designed around that. So you got the positive role model in there. We got nutrition and exercise training. That we would teach them young how to eat right, how to exercise. That stays with them. We're teaching the importance of education. We always give college tours and introducing the great school opportunities. So they're seeing the value of education as a way to uplift themselves and get a skill level where they don't have to depend on street life,
Right.
And then last is exposure because we would travel to tournaments. So they would see things outside of their neighborhood, like, wow, a couple of years ago, we took a group to where we at, like Walla Walla, Washington. We went to a basketball tournament, and of course they had never been out California, probably.
Right. Right.
So they could see, other parts of the country, it's very different, So we even taught them a lesson of, they went to whistle at a white young lady. We're like, see, you in Walla Walla, Washington.
You don't do that over here.
You don't do that over here. You get a lot of trouble doing that up here. So they need to learn how to carry their stuff in different environments and stuff. So we do that to make sure, for Jason and I, who were raised as Cosby kids, Jason Kidd and I went to the same schools, church together, families are close. So we know we had a very blessed life. Everyone wasn't blessed with two loving parents, that had not only good jobs, their own companies, and could afford vacations and all that kind of stuff. So we know we were blessed growing up. So we want to make sure as many kids are blessed too. So that's kind of our reason for our community work and the things that we do in the community.
Well, for us, that's why it's so important that what we said earlier is that we make sure that we share and keep a legacy alive of what our people are doing, or what people that we know has made the conscious decision to empower our communities, because that's what we need. And I hear you speaking, and what just came to my mind is brotherhood. I know it seems like you guys have a brotherhood kind of thing together with you and your with the other men that you work with. How important is brotherhood for African American men? Or women too, but
Well, it is very important for brothers and sisters, I would say. But
yes,
the key we have to look at is, I have a 19-year-old son. He's a sophomore at San Francisco State, right?
Mm-hmm.
He grew up with very loving parents,
right,
and made sure he had all the support he needed. Made sure he went to all the right schools. Still do it to today. He's a college student. Make sure he has all the support he needs. So it is a very good likely chance that my son Elijah will be fine in life. Because he's been given all the support, all the love, all the encouragement to do good in life. We have to really help the kids that don't have that. There's some kids that don't have their dad in their life. There's some kids whose mother hasn't figured it out. You know what I mean? Those are the kids that is a much higher chance will hit you over the head at the ATM machine.
Right.
Those kids are the ones that are going to be out there slanging and banging. So we get to those kids in third grade. We get to them in second grade and give them the same kind of, surrounding support that a kid like my son had. Well, the outcome could be even greater. You know, is a much likely. We've done that for the last 12 years. We have kids that were in bad situations that we provided all that support. They're all in college now. We started with them in 4th grade. There's a whole army of them. They're all in college now, and some of them, we had a couple kids, you know, that like witnessed their father kill their mother in front of them, you know, or their parents OD in front of them. You know what I mean? So these are kids that if something wasn't done, these were basketball players. So these were very big guys. You know, if something wasn't done, you know, their outcomes could have been very bad. They could have been very bad. So the key to brotherhood is convincing enough brothers the importance of the ones that went right to come back and just give an hour or two in the community. Maybe it's just coaching the team. Maybe it's an assistant coach. You don't have to know much about the sport, but your presence there is very important because the kids need to see that you can make the right turn too. They can see that there are brothers out there that love their wife, that cherish their children. They need to see that these things exist in their lives so they know they can do it too. You know, so that's what a brotherhood. And and the thing about it is most brothers that did make the right turn don't live in the hood anymore. So they you know, they can afford to live elsewhere, so they do. So the hard part is getting them to come back to the neighborhood where they came from, and just give an hour or two a week. So that's what we work very hard on. Is convincing brothers. Here's an opportunity. Bring your kids too, you know, and get involved. But it's really the other kid that needs the help. But their kids are gonna be fine. But that one kid that doesn't have the support, if he can just see and have a relationship, and you know, I still get calls and text messages from a bunch of players to today, but they see, you know, that you know they can do it too. You know, that's my whole thing. Kids are smart. If they see it, then they know they can do it too. But if they never see it, then how you expect it? I mean, a couple of them will figure it out themselves, but most you're not gonna figure stuff out yourself unless you see it yourself.
And that's what I hear you saying, is that you're basically it's taking them out of the box. The box in their actual community leaves them in a box. But when then you expose them, then it's like, whoa, the lights come on. It's like, oh, and then you got somebody saying behind them, you could do this. You too. And not only that, you could do it. We expect you to do it.
Right. You know, expect you to, I mean, you know, it's Robert, it's a crazy thing that happens that when you group of kids together, you start young enough and you group them together, a team behaves the same as a game. That it becomes their peer group. It becomes their peer group. So if everybody is doing their homework and taking school seriously, the next guy will do it. You know, the next guy, the next. If they're playing, they're going to eat right and exercise because they're believing, you know, this is all they know because they started in 3rd or 4th grade. So it just continues on every year. That's all they know. And then if like a sports guy like me, these become your lifelong friends. So the guys I played 4th grade, I started playing basketball with Jason Kidd in 3rd grade. We're friends today because we started playing basketball in 3rd grade together.
Right.
And our fathers were mentors and coaches. You know what I mean? So we saw what they were doing. But the same thing happens for if you group kids together young enough, they become a peer group and they support each other into adulthood. They're friends for, you know, friends for life. But the key is grouping the kids with the positive reinforcement, you know? Otherwise, they're going to group together on the corner with the other group.
Anyway.
With the other group.
And do some other kind of grouping we don't want the group to do.
Do some other things that again, we don't want. But, you know, the craziest thing is, one simple solution is if Black girls just play sports. Now, people don't know this. We studied this at UC Berkeley. Women that play sports are very seldom have children in high school. Wow. Something about playing sports that think that I can't get pregnant because I can't play my sport. Who knows the reason it is? Right. But women that play sports are very likely to have teenage babies. And overwhelmingly teenage mothers, sons that grow up to do bad things, unfortunately. Because it's normally young births that the father's not involved or the father just non-existent. So in white communities and suburbs, all the little girls play soccer starting like the second, third grade. The whole community. You know, the whole community goes out. I mean, my son started in kindergarten, I think. You know, the whole community does. But when he was playing, all the little girls were out there too. You know what I mean? So the research shows us that Black girls are the least likely to participate in sports.
Wow.
I mean, even less than Latinx because they play soccer too. They little girls play
right.
soccer too. Our girls, you know, either gymnastics can kind of be a little expensive, but everyone else normally starts with soccer. Little Black girls don't play soccer too much, you know. So if we can only get young Black girls to exercise more very young, not only does it have healthier outcomes, but the top executives in America all play high school sports, women. It's like 98% of them. So it's something about playing a sport young that has incredible outcomes on the other end. And so that's one little thing we can figure out is how do we get Black girls more active in the community very young to go run and jump and, you know, and really just play an organized sport. Really, all kids just want to run and jump when they're little. You know, it's not like skill level. It's not like skill level.
Sit down. Gotta go. And you know what I hear also is that within the sports and any sport activity is discipline, and you're teaching the child discipline, how to discipline themselves and how to take accountability.
Right.
Go ahead. You getting ready to say something?
No, I was gonna say, and we have to, you know, in our research at Berkeley, we know we're Black people, right?
Yeah.
So a tough sister in the hood, for instance, you can't really go to her and say, listen, I want to mentor your son. I want to give him a good life. And she's going to look at you like you're crazy. You know, she going to look at you like you're crazy because that's just how, I want to say, you know, they're being protective or what's going on here, etc. But you say, I want your son to come play for Jason Kidd basketball team. And then you provide all the stuff.
Right.
And do it. And you get the outcome, you know, you get the desired outcome, you know? So that's how we kind of disguise the community work by saying, you know, Gary Payton has a team, you know, or Dane Lillard has a team, you know, or something like that. So we're helping the kids, even when sometimes their family don't understand that they need help.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you know, people don't even understand that, you know what? My child can be a doctor. My child can be a lawyer, you know, because they didn't really pursue those avenues. They kind of sometimes put it on their kids that they don't give them the opportunity to say they can pursue it, you know. So it's important to kind of disguise the way you help also to make sure you get the kids that really need it. The kids that really need it, you know, a lot of times their dad's not in their life, you know. A lot of times the mother is still partying. You know, so you got to get to those kids in a creative way that you can even get in the door. So that was another reason why we use sports, because sports is kind of neutral. We even found that after a couple of years or a year into it, the dad started showing up to the game. The dad
bring the family together. That's awesome.
Yeah, the dad started showing back up.
That's awesome.
They may not go to teacher-parent meetings, but they want to see their little daughter or son, you know, play a sport. And they start, just the kids seeing that parent there, you can see it, how much it affects them, you know? So it's all very interesting. And we've done this for like the last 10 years. So I speak from actually doing it and seeing it myself.
Well, kudos goes out to you. For the work that you all are doing in the community. You know, our hat goes off to you. And this is the reason why, like I said before, is this is so important for us to make sure that we record our giants and our kings and our queens that's doing the work in our actual community. So my next question for you would be, why did you choose your profession, or did your profession choose you?
Good question. Good question. I saw my mother as an entertainment CEO. So from very young. And I always knew that's what I wanted to be. So I can kind of say it chose me, but I'm really following the family business. My uncle's still a producer, songwriter. He still owns a big recording complex in Oakland. He still produces, TV.
Tell us about him. Tell us about him. Who is he?
Thomas McElroy and Denzel Foster are the music producers that created Club Nouveau, Toni, In Vogue, produced everyone from Madonna to the intro music. You see the BET stuff to the intro music to Mark Curry's show. They've done a lot of music stuff to TV and all that kind of stuff. So my uncle is like my older brother. So he's an accident baby. So he had the 3 kids born, and then years later, my grandparents had him. So he's only 8 years older than me, and my mother was like a second mother to him because she was like in high school when he was born. So so because of that, I kind of followed the footsteps of my uncle and my mother.
Got it.
And kind of put another twist on it. But that was my foundation. That was my foundation.
And so to lead right into that, that's a perfect lead way into the Hip Hop TV. What made you create that, and what is it about?
So Hip Hop TV, I worked very close with my childhood friend Shakir Stewart through the years. Shakir Stewart went on to run Def Jam Records. He was basically L.A. Reid's right-hand man. So he took the position over from Jay-Z. So he started running. So through the years, I worked with Shakir. So we're the ones that brought Rick Ross to the world, Young Jeezy to the world, Sierra, Beyonce's singing, writing, her publishing deal. So I was a part of that team that did all that. So one day when Jay-Z was leaving Def Jam, he told Shakir, you need to create a business that will do a lot of good through all your contacts. So basically, was saying Universal is paying you a couple $1 million a year as as the president, but you're worth $200 million, $1 billion. So you need to stop, taking this $2 million and think like I'm leaving for a reason. You need to think like me and go do something big, and not settle for this position. So Shakir called me. He called 3 of his friends. I was one of the friends that got the call and said, Shawn, I just had this conversation with Jay-Z. Let's figure this thing out. So the idea we came up was for Hip Hop TV, which is a global hip hop broadcast network. And as we moved forward with the research, we found that meeting with some computer scientists and stuff, this is still in 2008. So this goes back a little bit, that the world is changing. Video is going to start being delivered to smart devices. So people are going to, in the future, will watch a lot of video on their cell phones. So you need to develop a network that delivers video to cell phones, to smart devices, because it will come a day when that is where a majority of content will be consumed. So we took that idea. So Hip Hop TV is that. So our goal is to centralize hip hop content from around the world into one easy to find location, and use a lot of technology to broadcast it out. So we're in essence a mix of YouTube and Netflix. So users can upload content like YouTube, and we can also broadcast movies and stuff behind paywalls for indie filmmakers around the world. So it becomes a platform. Now, the key thing about it is Hip Hop TV, the name is very important, because hip hop means the same thing in Oakland and St. Louis as it means in Laos, that it means in Korea, that it means in Nigeria. So it can be a global destination because there's no loss in translation. Meaning that Puffy's network is called Revolt. There's a lot of countries around the world that don't want to hear the word revolt.
Okay, that's smart.
The government has set it down. Or Jay-Z's network is Tidal. What does Tidal mean in Korean? What does Tidal mean in Aboriginal language? Hip hop means the same thing everywhere. Everybody know what hip hop is.
Right.
So the name allows it to be global, but we also use a lot of technology. So the key thing that we do is we're data miners. So whenever you put things on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat, etc., all that data is being tracked. So guys like me, you know, I'm the good guy.
Hey,
There's evil guys like me.
yeah.
Too,
Thank God we got the good guy on here.
There's evil guys like me that take that data, and every time you move, every time you post a comment, every time you post a picture, we're taking all that data and learning more about you. Until we know more about you, you know about yourself.
My God.
Predict what you're going to do with mathematics. It becomes statistics at that point. So we know that, you know, Barbara likes, you know, hair. She
right.
looked at hair different products up until about the 7th of the month. But she seems to pay her bills. She has, you know, a spending left over of $100. She likes to spend an average of $39.90. You know, $39.99 on hair pieces.
Wow.
You know, I say we could that detail. That detail. So I know what to send you. So at the 8th of the month, I know to send you a hair advertisement. I know not to price it more than $39.99. You know what I'm saying? So that, you know, and that's what's being done.
Now, see, that's how I think. I like that. I like that. And y'all doing it back door so nobody know you're doing it. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So
that's social dilemma or something.
Excuse me.
It's a documentary on Netflix about that.
Yeah, I watched it.
Or something or social something.
Yeah. Social
dilemma. Where they
social dilemma.
Plug things in because they tracking.
And it shows you the people that designed it didn't plan to use it they didn't know this is what they were doing when they were building it. You know, They thought they were just putting a like button. They didn't realize that like button brings a lot of information to data. Because now we know what you like and what you don't like, you know, and it really gets scary in this Trump.
Yeah.
With this Trump time, you can literally know who is nuts. So they know who the crazy white people are with guns. They know who they are, right? They know they are. They also know what to send down their timeline to activate them.
Wow.
You know, so it's very dangerous. You know what? Like at Facebook, you know, some of the highest paid employees are a neurologist team at Facebook. That all they study is how people's brains work and how they take all the data from Facebook and study how people's brains work. So that can be used. That's very dangerous. I mean, Trump got elected off this data. They look and see who is racist in America, who would fall for racist nonsense in 2016. You know, it's not 1816. In 2016, who will fall for this racist rhetoric? Well, the data show a lot of people.
Right.
The data, a lot of people fall for it, and we saw in this past election, the whole middle America is red. All the red states. Those were a lot of white people, and even some of us that falls for racist rhetoric. That all Trump, this whole base is that was rural and suburban white people. So they have all this data, so they have to use that data to say, you know, sway people's votes. You know, Black Lives Matter is evil. You know, Obamacare, you know, doesn't help people. The honest truth. There's more poor white people in America. Obamacare helps white people. You know what I mean? You know, it helps a lot of white people. It helps us too. But middle America has a lot of poor white people.
Right.
They need health care too.
And you know, it's crazy that you say that. It was not crazy. It's really, it's ironic because this kind of information is what our people need to hear. They need to understand that this is just, you know, when they design these things for you, it's just not just to design them for you to have fun.
Right.
It's to get to know who you are. And you going to share all your personal business. You going to share where you at, the time you there. People know when you gone from your homes, and it's crazy. I mean, and when you sitting there having dinner.
Right.
Everybody, when they talking about going out to the restaurant, I'm like, well, everybody on the cell phone anyway. Ain't nobody talking and having not socializing while they're sitting there having their dinner. You know, it's just that you want another place to go to sit there, and y'all ain't talking to each other, but y'all on y'all devices.
I'll show you something that's even more funny that people don't know. Every time you tag a picture, right? Every time you tag a picture, that's facial recognition software work. So what they're doing is knowing how to recognize you you know, for whatever they need to. So that same database is running at all the cameras that you see and all that stuff, so they can actually track you. China does this, and they tell people they're doing it. China does it. I mean, they let you know they're doing it. You know,
oh man, that's person of interest.
That's personal interest. You know?
The movie.
Yeah. Exactly. like we laugh with the 5-picture challenge. The 5-picture challenge was facial recognition software.
What?
They're running tests. They're running tests on us. Yeah, they're running tests on us. Yeah. So
wow. You know what? Because this brother in my class at Laney, he did a presentation. He did a presentation on China.
Right.
And oh my God, I was just floored. Everybody was in there like, what? Everywhere they go, there's cameras.
Yeah.
They know their every move. Right. And I'm like, that is scary. Even though it's done here too, but I mean, it's done. And it's easy to they typed in something.
Well, they know it's being done. They know it's being done.
Right.
It's being done here too. We just don't. We don't know it's being done. They're just not telling us. You know, I happen to work in this field, so it's common knowledge if you build social media platforms and stuff, because it's valuable to everybody. It's valuable to me too. But it's the evil things they do with it, which is scary. Like, let's say South Korea, for instance. South Korea, the reason why they're so successful with COVID, because they have all that tracking stuff there. So in South Korea, everyone mandatory had to go take a test. No, not taking no test. And they put telephone booths all throughout the country. Walk in, take your test. And then they had you download the software to your phone. So they know everybody that had corona. So when you moved around the country, if you had that Rona, they know where you went and who you was with. And then they contacted that person. That person had corona you was with. Go you mandatory quarantine right now. And they had the lowest cases in the world because they attacked it head on. But because of the technology piece to it, I mean, it's very invasive to your personal life, but it worked. It worked because now you had a dot. You actually on their phones, they have dots where they could see people with corona moving towards them.
Oh my goodness!
Just like Geo Maps. Yeah, they know they saw you coming. Oh no!
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that's that G5 you be talking about.
And that's a true story. And in China, the government had it. So China don't follow rules like South Korea or America. The police will just come pick you up in that van and paddy wagon. Like, what you doing out? Boo!
Oh my! Oh jeez!
Yeah.
Keep the crime level down.
My point is, it's all the same technology though. It's all the same thing that they use here. It's just the government's using it a little stronger over there. Our government uses it too. But we can't, beat people over the head and throw them in the back of a van because they out with coronavirus. but China can.
Right. Oh my God. That's crazy. So you know what? My next question would be to you. What would you like to create or share with the world for your legacy? You've already done that.
Yeah,
tell us about it. It's
a very successful HipHopTV. So in HipHopTV, we compare ourselves to YouTube. So YouTube is worth $300 billion. And last year made $15 billion in revenue. That's what YouTube did. So if HipHopTV could do 1% of what YouTube did, a half a percent, we've done very well. We built something that's very well, So my goals, isn't that hard to achieve, especially with the Rolodex that I have. So I feel I can convince, especially Black entertainers, those with followers and stuff. Hey, we got to start putting our data on our own pipes.
Yes,
because they're using this data against us. Even for you, celebrity, they know everything about you. It's one big COINTELPRO. They know you got a side chick. They know you like to use drugs. They can tell by the data, tell everything about you. They know all these things about you. We got to take our data and put it somewhere. They know if you're thinking conscious or if you're not. Wow. They can tell by your comments.
Yeah.
This actress, we got to watch out for her. You know, I could tell she liked it to me in the Black Lives Matter post. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I mean, if they can do, they're tracking all this stuff. So we gotta pull our data off of their pipes and put it on our own pipes. And guess what? The fans will follow. The fans don't care if it's Facebook or if it's Instagram or it's TikTok. They care about LeBron James. They care about
me too.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna follow LeBron wherever he go. You know,
yes.
They're gonna follow, all these artists, where they go. Beyonce, where she go, her fans will follow her. So isn't that they're not loving Instagram. No, they'll follow her wherever she goes. So it's a series of meetings like that saying we put in our own pipes and we own the network, and we only hit 1% of what YouTube does. We did some big things, but what do we hit 10%? Right. So that's really my goal to develop, because we these are things we have to do. Yeah. And then of course my community work is in conjunction with HipHopTV. So HipHopTV is always the sponsor of all the community work. So I think we have to figure out as Black people how to help the kids that wasn't blessed with a childhood like mine. We got to get to those kids, those young ladies and young men, and we got to get to them early. We got to get them 2nd, 3rd grade, so the streets don't get them. We got to get them before the streets get them. In England, a lot of people don't know, like 40 years ago, when the Nigerians were in England and migrated more to England, it was tough times. Well, they told themselves, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have the smartest kids on the planet. That's what they said to do. We're going to put our foot so far everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Right. These kids are going to be the best in science and math. That's what we're going to do. So they had meetings, they organized it. Nigerians are treated like Asians in England. That means they hate, the people hate to see them come to class. Oh, they're going to mess up the score. You're going to mess up the curve. You know what I'm saying? They known for being the smartest kids. Wow. Because 40, 50 years ago, the Nigerians said, how we going to win the smartest kids? They're also the highest paid ethnic group in the world, because there are a lot of scientists and doctors, because they focus on science. Yeah. Out of every ethnic group in the whole planet, Nigerians are the highest paid in the diaspora of the world. Because from that England, what they did in England, they started spreading out even in the United States. Our kids are going to focus on school. Now it's unfortunate because they put a lot of pressure on the kids, kind of stuff. Right. But the outcomes are that. So they could have been the thug group in England too. They could have been the biggest criminals in England too. But no, they focus on that, and more of the Jamaican population to go. As the population can show they're a bit more for street life. Nigerians were like, no, we're gonna be smart. And our kids, they may not like us, but they're gonna study some math and some science. Wow. Now, is your family from Nigeria too? No. My first wife is from Sierra Leone. Oh, okay. Yeah, our first wife is from Sierra Leone. That's my son's mother. Oh, right on. Yeah. So I've been around a lot of the African communities, throughout most of my life. But I know that's UC Berkeley research. We kind of study who had outcomes and how did they get the outcomes that they got, and kind of what do we need to do in America. So one of the things we have to do is we have to put a whole army of Shawn Granberries around into the community as just mentor coaches, and we need to focus on the communities we need to. Like in Oakland, a report comes out that shows that 90% of violent crimes happen in 3 neighborhoods. They know they know the roughest neighborhoods, right? Right. Well, those young men need mentors. If we got to those shooters in 3rd grade, it's a very good likely chance they wouldn't become shooters. That's right. And we can kind of change the destination of those. If those young ladies in that community played soccer, then they probably would have never been a young mother, in the community, not thinking long term, thinking more survival mode, And in survival mode, all you thinking about is feed my kids, the roof over my head, and all those type of things. So if we could we can focus, because you know, black women are, as we can see in this election, are so phenomenal. You know, if all were given a chance,
yeah,
this you know, it's the stars the limit. You know, the stars the limit. But a simple of playing soccer in kindergarten, you'd be surprised how much a difference that'll make.
wow,
How much difference it make. And then the young brothers, you know, a lot of the ones that have these bad outcomes, they wouldn't be born later on, you know, when a mother was established and focused, and, you know, everything else. So it's crazy how little solutions like that, but it takes getting enough people to go into the neighborhoods where the help is needed the most. The police give us the reports. They tell us where it's needed the most. We read the police report. They tell us where to go. But now it's really attacking community centers, supporting schools, supporting neighborhoods in those areas. And we could do what Nigerians did. It may take us 40, 50, 60 years to get the outcome, but this isn't a short fight. This is a long fight.
That's right. You know, you was just sharing with me also about the students that you're working with, and they recorded. Tell me about that. They just recorded what you was talking about tonight. That they just recorded. Tell us about them.
Created a part of the so Jason Kidd, Antonio Davis, and myself, we remodeled the gym at the Willie Keys Recreation Center in West Oakland. That is the neighborhood that Antonio grew up in. In Oakland, you're from Oakland, we call it Dogtown. You're from Oakland, it's called Dogtown, West Oakland. So we remodeled the gym there. We built a computer lab and stuff in there, and we created a Media Tech Academy program for young people. So basically, they study all sorts of media, how to edit, how to shoot, how to be on-air personalities, behind the camera, in front of the camera. And the later stage of it, they create their own shows and produce their own shows. So last night, we shot the pilot for 3 shows. And these particular young people are just incredible young people. You know, this is actually an older set. So they actually just graduated from San Francisco State in the broadcasting department. So they're young, but they're like 22, 20, you know, they're
right.
But we tested the first group with them, so we know what's good for like junior high kids. It starts at junior high, so we know what the junior high, you know, this is how I work with like real focused group, older. So now we know how to kind of work it for younger. So that's a partnership with Oakland Parks and Rec to run. So it's very exciting, and they were very excited last night to shoot their pilots, and we get professionals in the industry to volunteer to teach the kids, you know, how it's really done. So doing it in school is one thing, but how stuff is really produced is a whole nother thing. So they're learning from and getting access to people that they normally wouldn't be able to get access to, because normally people that don't have time to mentor no young people. But we convincing the importance of you know, if you plant a seed in them early, you plant that seed, and you can change the direction of someone. So even the professionals are starting to get it and understand it. So that was a great time last night.
Wow. Again, our hat goes off to you. We're so excited about all the work that you're doing in your community, in our community, and as an African-American Black man doing it. You know, that makes us queens proud to see our men that have stepped up and that's making a difference. You know, it's amazing to us, and we just want to just say, man, you know how we do. We gonna uplift our kings for sure, because you guys deserve to be lifted. Go ahead. You were gonna say something?
No, I'm saying, and we have to do, as Black men, do a better job of uplifting our queens. You know, I feel and so we try to personally try to set that example. You know, even with the kids, you know, we let them know we love our wives, we respect our wives. You know, all the coaches. You know, so the kids, they see that. Yes. They see, you know, they see, you know, good vibes between a man and woman. They see how we treat our children, you know, so they're learning, you know, how to treat. You know, we spend a lot of time with our team, you know, making sure they respect women, know how to, you know, and can be gentlemen. Stuff outside of just the basketball stuff. We teach them, you know, and they see. So more than talking, they see how we treat our wives, all the coaches and stuff and everything. So they see the way it's supposed to be done. So, and that's very important, because I work in hip hop. So the music, all this music don't always preach that.
Right.
Yeah, the music, some of the videos they see is not communicating that at all. So they need a balance. They need to see that's fiction, that's the music. This is reality, you know.
That's right. Any of you ladies want to share anything or say something to Shawn while we have him? Because boy, we are so grateful that you took out time of your busy schedule to sit and share your life story with us. We are so honored. Go ahead, ladies. Anybody had anything to share with ask the brother or share?
I just was thinking when he was, saying get him when I was an athlete and I had kids with it, right? So I'm still an athlete. If it wasn't for this COVID, I'd be playing my softball. So I'm a little depressed about that.
Right.
But I do, getting them when they're young. They make prisons from third graders.
Yeah, that's
whole
true.
Little thing about how many people gonna be in jail by studying third graders.
Right.
So if you get them when they're young in second, third grade, first, second, kindergarten, that will minimize that prison that they.
And it ain't hard to do. All kids want to run and jump. It ain't a hard.
That's all they want to do. That's all they want to do. But I'm convicted over here because I'm like, I grew up in North Richmond. Okay.
Right.
I can't stand Richmond. I don't want to go back to do nothing. Right? But like listening to you, I'm like, maybe I need to be going over to Shrewsbury Park and
it's so funny. It's so funny. We were.
I don't do that.
It's so funny because I'm from East Oakland.
It was just so true with everything that you were saying. I can testament to. I'm sure that's why being an athlete kept me out of a lot of trouble. It kept me out of a lot of trouble. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I don't do any of those things. Right. I was an athlete, and my mama was crazy, and she probably would have beat the hell out of me. So, I had that going for me.
Right.
But out of 5 girls, I'm the only one of her 5 girls that don't do those things.
Right.
So and I was the first one to graduate. I was, like the third one to start having kids or whatever. But I had that strict mother because it was all girls in North Richmond.
Right.
And I had a stepdad, but my dad, they broke up at some point or whatever. So she was a single mom. But I think that if we can catch them early and have them focus on other things and being exposed. I moved to Sacramento my 11th grade year, a whole new world for me. Right. I went to school in suburban Sacramento after being at Richmond High, and Helms Junior High, to go into where people were driving Benz and Benzes and BMWs. Right. And it's like, wait, hold on. Culture shock, right? But it opened my eyes to say, hey, there's something more in this world than this. Right. And then also contributing where I grew up at to say, like you said, some people, grow up in the bad neighborhoods and they don't go down the wrong path. But I was able to see in my neighborhood drugs and all that and consciously say to myself, I don't want that life.
Right.
Right. I remember as a young girl saying out of my mouth, I don't want a life like that.
Right.
And so in my mind, it was like, what do I need to do to ensure that I don't have that life?
Right.
And then in conjunction with the sports and all of that was like, and then, moving away and being able to see something other than what I was used to seeing. So now it's like, I can go and be something else, do something else in my mind. Even in school, it was like, as long as I kept a 2.0, I could stay on the track team. As long as I keep a 2.0, I could stay on the basketball team. But then when I went to Sacramento, and it just took this young teacher handing me back my English paper. She didn't know me from a can of paint. She handed me my paper back and said, you can do better than that. And that's all she said and walked away from me.
Right.
And a light bulb went off and I went from the basic 2.0 to a 2.85, just because somebody said, little white girl, fresh out of college. But it just took somebody saying to me, you better than that. You can do better than that.
Right.
And me believing it, obviously. And was able to go on and, do better in school just from her saying them simple words to me. Because nobody had said it to me before,
Right.
Before this is my 11th, I'm in 11th grade at this point. Like, I've been writing papers since junior high the same way. And they just giving me my, grades and moved me on along. And then here come this young lady and says, "Oh no, you better than that." And I remember that like so vivid, like, and she didn't even know it was her first year teaching. You know, so you know, hats off to you to what you're doing. And I don't know if I get hip hop TV or whatever, but I'll sure be, you know, figuring it out and looking it up or whatever. I have my older kids are into music and stuff. They were also athletes, but now they decided they want to do this music thing, which they should have been off to college somewhere doing something. But hey, that was my dream, not theirs.
Right.
So, but they are in the music thing too, and so Jackie, they done heard some of the somebody be like, oh, you did not just say that, oh. But then they also have some positive ones too. But the ones I was like, cringing, like, you did not say that. Where did you get that from? Who taught you that? It's hip hop, like you said. All the hip hop is not going to be, you know, positive, but at least he has like a little balance there, you know, where he got some raunchy stuff and then he got some more positive stuff or whatever. But you know, I just want to support him in whatever he does. Because
Hip Hop TV is here, and Hip Hop TV is here for him. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to, because I don't know. I mean, I remember like a long time ago. I don't remember what was the. Remember Matthew? Do you know Matthew Griffith?
I know Matthew. I know Matthew.
Yeah. So I met Matthew when I was modeling and stuff, and so I know he had a local program thing or whatever. But I always lived up here, so I didn't get like Channel 26 or whatever it was up here. But yeah, I know him. He was actually my videographer at my wedding. So,
wow. I've worked several times with Matthew. We worked through the years.
Yeah, so, and I met some other people that said that they had, somebody I just met, a girl that said so Hip Hop TV is not Channel 26, right? That's two different things?
So we're OTT delivered. That means we do create TV shows for TV, but the platform is just go to hiphoptv.com.
Okay.
hiphoptv.com, and then we're rolling out our apps and our Roku and Apple TV is all rolled out over the next year. So.
Oh yeah, I got my Roku TV.
Yeah. So it all roll out.
Yeah, I just met a young lady, but she said she did something with Channel 26. I'm like, I don't think I get Channel 26. Right. But that's my little 5 cents. I can't even say 2 cents because that was like 20 minutes.
Were you, Jack? We can't hear you. No. Still can't hear you.
You muted, or you may have a volume down on the computer.
I don't know if she's muted. Oh, muted. No. Okay.
Nope. Turn your volume up. You're mute. You muted.
Yeah, she has to unmute.
Can't hear you.
Muted.
Okay, tell.
Unmute. Okay, that's good.
I'm going on with her thing.
There you go. But still can't hear the volume.
Still can't hear you.
Yeah, she's not muted.
Do a sign language.
He says she'll call you.
Okay.
Universal language.
Oh, she's talking about her little grandson.
Oh, okay.
So she's gonna connect you with the grandson.
Okay. Got it.
Well, Shawn, the time has wind down, and again, you know, this is making our ancestors proud because we said for not having the opportunity to do the Juneteenth and like we normally do, and thank you for having the hip hop stage.
Yeah, we love it.
And we're so grateful that you are with us with the Juneteenth. And on the behalf of B-HBrilliantMinds Project Inc., we are inviting everybody to continue to celebrate Juneteenth 196 special 2020 edition. How we came up with Juneteenth 196, if you were to count from June the 19th to December the 31st, it's 196 days.
Oh,
so
nice.
We got this opportunity to be able to do this special celebration.
Oh, nice.
And when we came up with our theme is we are the breath of our ancestors. We will never break because we are history shakers and makers. This is in honor of acknowledging that Black culture, Black minds, Black breath, and Black Lives Matter. And we are saying it loud because we are Black and proud. And we definitely want to thank our sponsor, Win Rose Foundation of the Common Cancel Foundation. It's a lot. Win Rose Fund of the Common Cancel Foundation. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have this opportunity to do this virtual Juneteenth celebration. All of what we have tonight will be uploaded to B-HBrilliantMinds Project Inc. That is the name of our nonprofit. The website is www.bhbrilliantminds.org. And once again, if you have participated in this session, you have given B-HBrilliantMinds Project Inc. the authorization to use your voice, to share your picture, your comments. And again, we want to say good night and thank you, Mr. Shawn. We're going to let you say the final words.
No, I want to say thank you. Thank you, my sisters. You know, many years ago in one of my early projects, you know, you and Jackie supported me. Yes. You know, so you supported me. And it's probably been over 20 something years ago now. But so we have to support each other. So absolutely. I will always appreciate that. And you know, I've always had your back. So
yes, and we got yours. But you know, when you said that over 20 years, there it is again. What we were trying to also get folks to know is relationships.
Right.
Relationships is so important because we need each other.
Right.
You know, just as well as for connections, but we uplift each other when we haven't even got the opportunity to see each other or talk to each other. Right. We know that our spirits is still with one another. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to have a relationship with individuals that's making a difference in the world. And you are making a difference and have made a difference. And we want to thank you and your team, the Hip Hop TV. How would they contact you?
You know, I invite everyone to hiphoptv.com. Go check us out. Give us some feedback. You can find me, regular Shawn Granberry on Facebook. Shawn Hip Hop TV on Instagram, and you have all the contact information on the site. So those are the easiest ways to you know, to reach me. On the 21st, we got about a week or so. The upload feature will be started. So then we'll start our mass reach out for all artists to create their channels and upload all their music videos and all that stuff. So that big announcement is coming up, I believe, on the 21st of this month.
Awesome. And then I also want to share too, on our website, you can also, we have a YouTube channel that these will be uploaded to the YouTube channel also. Perfect. So again, we want to say thank you and good night. I'm going to cut this recording.